What's up, guys? Just got done watching Joseph Parker take every round from Deontay Wilder. So let me start off with an absolutely masterful performance by Joseph Parker. That was one of the best heavyweight performances I've seen in a very long time, probably at least since Joshua beat Ruiz. Just because I'm a purist, man. Like I love when people outbox somebody for 12 rounds. I love it. I love what Bivol does. I think Bivol's better than Beterbiev. I knew Fury was going to beat Wilder. Like, I'm always going to take the pure boxer over the knockout artist. I had Fury against Klitschko. Like, just these fights. This was just one where I thought Parker was kind of done. I bet Joe Joyce against Joseph Parker, and I had to lay a lot. So why wouldn't I take Wilder over Parker even after the Joe Joyce knockout, which was pretty bad? But I hate Wilder. I have hated him for years. I have said that this is going to happen eventually. I was actually living in Alabama when he was coming up, and when he won his title, I went to see him fight. I think it was Eric Molina. I went to see him fight Molina and I think Duhaupas back then, and they were both in Birmingham, Alabama. I was right there, and I mean, the guy just. I went to see him live, and I was like, I ain't a fan of this guy anymore. Like I thought he was gonna learn. Kind of, he's been learning on the job. Like he's. I know he's an Olympics, bronze medalist or whatever, but like his plan A got him this far, but I said whenever he steps up and consistently fights guys in the top 10, maybe he'll win 2 out of 3 of them, but eventually he's going to get outboxed because that right hand's not going to land. And the thing is, when it doesn't land, he looks bad. Like there's a great YouTube page Richard Dwyer does. It's just Richard Dwyer Boxing or something like that. But he has a saying he's said for years. It's knockouts cause amnesia. And you think about all these Wilder fights, and you see him getting outboxed or not doing much. I watched him fight Eric Molina, and that was not. It was kind of like this fight, except Molina did a lot less. But Wilder didn't do anything to win rounds. It was just when his right hand landed, he got him out of there. But you know why? Because you're fighting Eric Molina, and you're not fighting guys in the top 10. If you fought guys in the top 10 consistently, this would have happened years ago, and Deontay Wilder wouldn't be who he was today. And he took the easy route his whole career. Luis Ortiz is a decent fighter, but Luis Ortiz isn't proven either. I mean, his biggest win when he fought Wilder was Bryant Jennings. Somehow, beating Bryant Jennings got him 2 title shots against Deontay Wilder. And he won, I would say, probably like 80% of those rounds against Deontay Wilder. So, I mean, this was going to happen eventually. Like, it's not a huge shock to me. It's kind of shocking just because Parker did it. And one of my things with Parker, like I didn't even say in my video, but like, he's usually kind of a stationary target. He doesn't have the best foot movement. He didn't have it tonight. He stood in the middle of the ring, and Deontay Wilder was absolutely clueless. He was jumping around the ring with his right hand cocked. He was so tense all night. It was like, dude, that right it's got a flow. Like you have to have some rhythm in there. He had nothing. I mean, I don't know what the hell him and Malik Scott have been doing for the last 2 years, but it didn't look good. Like, that was bad. And, like, shout out to Andy Lee. Andy Lee is 10 times the trainer that Malik Scott is. I mean, it's just like Wilder's got too many yes men around him. All his fans are the same way. They're going to be making excuses for this. His age, he's 38. The Fury fights took so much out of him. Like, I don't want to hear any of that shit. He fought tonight exactly how he fights every other fight. But tonight he actually fought somebody with a pulse. And this is what happens. And, like, this was the hardest guy that he fought outside of Fury his whole career. He's 38 years old. Like, you shouldn't be, and you're trying to set up a huge fight, and you're fighting the toughest guy in your career, other than Fury. And this is what happens. I mean, it's very hard for Parker to do what he did, to stay on all night. It's kind of like the performance that Dubois had. Like, he didn't let the mind games get to him. He wasn't intimidated whatsoever. Dubois wasn't intimidated by Miller's size. Parker wasn't intimidated at all. You know what else he did? Like when he was landing, like he knows that Wilder only fights in spurts, and it's usually one. So when Wilder threw the right hand, like Parker would throw with him because he knew, yeah, maybe he'll catch me with the right hand if he does I'm out, but like I'm just gonna smother it. So when Wilder went to punch, like he didn't have any room to land that giant right hand. And Sergio Mora said it at one point, like Wilder knocks a lot of those guys out because of the distance. They're staying back because they're so afraid, and you catch them on the end of it. There's way more, leverage or torque or whatever into the punch. And Parker didn't allow that. He stayed close enough to smother those punches, and that was absolutely brilliant. And he threw when Wilder threw, and people are usually scared shitless to do that, and I don't blame them. But yeah, bottom line was this is going to happen to Wilder eventually, and it sucks that it happened now because I would have loved to see AJ wipe the floor with him, like I've been saying he was going to do all these years. But yeah, just shout out to Joseph Parker for putting on an amazing performance. And I don't know where they go from here. I mean, maybe Parker fights the winner, coming up here of Joshua Wallin. Or I don't know what's going on with the heavyweight division now because that just fucked it up. At least the whole top of the division for a while. And I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to fight this version of Joseph Parker, in the top 10. So and then Joshua, like, I don't know if this would be the greatest fight for him either because, Joshua can get outboxed for 10 rounds by this guy. So, I love Anthony Joshua. I know he beat him before, but this Joseph Parker is better than he's been his whole career. He just is. But, yeah, just a terrible performance by Deontay Wilder. And just one last thing, him putting his hand up at the end of the fight and thinking that he won the fight. Even after somebody he reads the scorecards and it's 120-108. He's got his hand up in the air thinking he won. The guy is he's delusional and, good riddance for what's happening to him for what he did to Mark Breland. Shout out to Mark Breland. I met him at the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. He's a real dude. And Wilder, I don't know what to say. Like he's been a phony this whole time. This whole time he hasn't been a real champion. And I'll say it like I always say with him, like, you didn't learn shit from knocking people out in 1 or 2 rounds. You learned absolutely nothing. You said, oh, my right hand's always going to be there. Guess what? Wasn't there for you tonight, and you got absolutely destroyed. So keep your mouth shut about, Joshua. Keep your mouth shut about Fury, about Usyk. You have no room to talk in this heavyweight division. Have fun fighting Jarrell Big Baby Miller in your next fight or whoever the fuck you want to fight. But he's done at the top. He's 38 years old right now. He's just retired. You made a ton of money selling yourself to stupid people and just getting by because you were the WBC champ. So have a nice career, Wilder, and let's enjoy some real boxing.